Chamge jitab kalenjin amang'ung'uit tugul ole imite koibaibai ak ikere ketesiet nebo Kass TV. Kigurena Jacqueline Arusei, kabarastaindet newolwech ng'alek eng oretab kabarunoik kegurena Umiche Rotich. Kitoune logoiwechoto kole kakong'at President William Ruto kibagengeitab EPRA netelelchin alyetab mwanik eng emet koker kole kaichuchuch alyetab mwanikab diesel eng silingishek alak 10 kotougei arawetab lo asimatestai kochil ak biikab emet mising ko chemite sekta nebo loiset. Ng'alaling State House Mombasa komite ak kandoik kobun kibagengeishek cheterter chebunu sekta nebo loiset eng emet komwa Ruto kole kikotestai serikalinyi koib kakwautik chetakchingei koter alyetab mwanik komatkolany mising yetesetai boriet eng emetab Iran. Akot konotok kokakon kurset Ruto eng kandoikab bolatet komatkoboisie kaimutiet nebo alyetab mwanik eng yaetab bolatet kosubkei ak nekamwa kole kaimutyonoto komite ematunwek tugul eng nguni.
I have directed that in the pricing cycle, next pricing cycle, we are going to further reduce the price of diesel by a further 10 shillings for the June-July cycle to help stabilize pump prices and provide additional relief to consumers. Thirdly, through the government-to-government fuel supply framework, we have secured guaranteed fuel supplies despite global supply chain disruptions, ensuring uninterrupted fuel supply availability across the country. The arrangement has stabilized fuel pricing compared to the old spot market system, where prices fluctuated sharply every month. Before the G2G arrangement was introduced in 2023, oil importers faced intense pressure to secure US dollars within short timelines, driving rapid depreciation of the Kenya shilling and threatening fuel supply stability. By easing pressure on foreign exchange demand and ensuring predictable supply terms, the framework has protected the economy during the crisis as the one we have now. Without it, the country's situation, I tell you, would be much worse. And I want you people to talk to oil marketers. They will explain to you the kind of situation that was there in 2022 when we had a crisis like the one we have. Without a guaranteed supply, without the framework we have built, there would be a major crisis of foreign currency and there would be a major crisis of supply. The G2G arrangement has guaranteed supply, even when we have disruptions, and has also made it possible for us to pay on terms that does not put pressure on our dollar reserves. I know there are those who are trying to turn this global crisis into politics. People seeking to exploit public pain for political gain, making reckless claims and pretending there are easy options. But leadership requires honesty, not political opportunism or playing populist politics. The reality is that no country can completely escape the global oil shock of this magnitude. Even advanced economies with far greater financial resources than Kenya are facing similar challenges. There are those asking government to remove all taxes and levies on fuel immediately. But we must ask ourselves honestly, if we stop collecting these revenues entirely, what public services shall we stop funding? Do we go back to the spectacle of stalled road projects that had become a hallmark across our country? Do we stop the fertilizer subsidy that is enhancing food security? Do we cut the security budget that helps us secure our borders, combat criminal gangs, and protect citizens? Surely, our hospitals and schools must continue to function, and we must continue to fund them.
Kago mange kwanyik chemitenga tuetapke nebo Ruto Two-Term Women Brigade en county nebo Uasin Gishu agomwa kole okotestai kobun osisiet akanyalilet kwanyik che robe eut lewenetab William Ruto ne inendet ko kamwa kole wendi kokachini kamwa kwanyichoto kole bendi kokachini inendet kasubet kosubkei ak boisionik chebo bandaptai chekotestai kosulda inendet eng emet. Akot konoto kokamwa kwanyichoto kole kokotestai koborionji kaimutik cheboto usisiet alake eng kwanyik cheikochini kasubet kandoinatetab President William Ruto.
Kondojin Dr. Lea Chelagat kubun kibagenge notok bo kwanyik chebo Ruto Two-Term Women Brigade en county nebo Uasin Gishu komwoe icheket kole mitei kotie boisionik chekitoi akosuldae President Dr. William Ruto.
Keesio kanyaliletab chepyoset agenge nekokibar nekilen Rachel Ndeto. Kokiesio na tunakashifu, kokiesio kele mami chepyosa age netokeboro, mami chepyosa netokinyolili. Kiteleli tugul ak arap Ruto akoi keit 2027. Kimwoe chepyosok tugul kele mangu matingunyng'uny chepyoso amemwa ameiwe imwa kiy. Mangu amu mitei kebebertanyo ko ki chepyosok. Mitei eng ng'alekab law nenyo. Komitei ng'alekab chepyosok aketie chepyosok serikalitab arap Ruto omangu leo obwa kebir kura. Maneno ya Rachel Ndeto nekokinyalili tunakataa akesioi tugul akelen mami chepyosa age netokonyalili kou noto. Oyele ye omangu chepyosok kwok korik ak lagok kwok. Kakoech emet 2027 kebendi Singapore. Ruto how many term?
Ni kwa sababu yeye amesimamia mambo ya kuunganisha Wakenya wote. Ukiangalia katika chama chetu cha UDA, utapata kuna makabila yote, utapata hata kule kwa viongozi, unapata viongozi kutoka taifa lote la Kenya mahali ambapo watu wako. Kwa hivyo sisi tunapokuja pamoja, tunakuja hapo kwa sababu tunafuata agenda na tunasupport rais wetu.
Mwoe kwanyichoto kole kokotestai kobun usisiet chong'indab kwanyik mising ko icheket cherobe eut President Dr. William Ruto nenerekyin icheket baretab kwony agenge Rachel Ndeto nekoisuldae biik chetomo kenai agoi nguni eng konekit.
Katika Uasin Gishu chapter tunajua president anatoka Uasin Gishu hii, na tumeamuka sasa kwa niaba ya wamama wote wa Uasin Gishu County kusema kwamba Ruto tunapigania mpaka arudi kiti mara ya pili. Rachel Ndeto ambao alikuwa amejiweka picha ya President Ruto. We condemn it. It was really brutal, and we really want to say women should not be cowardized for fighting their democratic right. This country is a democratic country whereby everyone's opinion on democracy is valued. And therefore, as women, we call upon all women of this country, let us not be cowardized. Let us fight for our spaces. Like in the constitution, we are given the two-third gender rule, and we must fight for the two-third gender rule in this country.
Kimeje kinde tak toget picha itabara Ruto kebaru kele kisupporteni hatuwezi kaa nyuma ya tent na tukisema tuna support nyuma His Excellency the President. Tukiwa kwa matatu, tukiwa hata kasini, tukiwa hata kanisani, tukiwa wapi tumeweka picha, tutaweka picha wa Ruto kwa kichwa yetu juu. Hatutaficha tena. Tutaweka kwa sindiria yetu, tutaweka kwa manguo ndani, lakini tutaweka picha His Excellency the President hapa kwa kichwa. Ndio mwenye anataka kuja kuua wamama ajitokezee saa hii. Wakenya waone.
Kamwa icheket kole nyolu konyor imanda familia nebo Rachel akosome kwanyik alak chebune kaimutik cheu chotok chebo usisiet komongei ak ichek.
Uasin Gishu wako pamoja na wewe na tunasema nini? Ruto Two-Term. Kwa hivyo tena tungependa kama wamama tuna condemn ambapo wamama wetu wanauawa kwa sababu ya kuweza kukampeinia president. Ningependa kusema Ndeto amelala, lakini tunasema rest in peace our hero, kwa sababu tuko wengi nyuma yako na umeua moja, lakini tunataka mtambue ya kwamba wamama ambao tunasimama na Ruto tuko kwa namba kubwa, na wamama tunataka kusema tuko hama hatuko, tuko hama hatuko, na ni demokrasia yetu kama wamama tuweze kupatiwa nafasi yetu ya kuchagua president ule tunataka, na president wetu tumesema ni nani? Ruto ndio president wetu.
Akot kunoto komache kwanyichoto koistoege kandoik polatet neibu pcheetab bororioshek missing ko chemeng'indos eng kibagenge kobun kebeberwek chotok chenootin ko cosmopolitan.
And we will ensure every woman in this country is given of importance kwa kila mrengo. Kama ni kazi ya ofisi apewe nafasi, kama ni kiti ya kuchaguliwa apewe nafasi. Whatever a man does, a woman does best.
Kongatika taunetab Eldoret eng county nebo Uasin Gishu, logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyu Isaac Kogei.
Kagomwa Principal Secretary eng Ministry nebo National Treasury Dr. Chris Kiptoo kole tesetai serikali ak tetutik cheterter chetakchinigei keker kele kakiregune alyetab mwanik nekotestai kolany eng emet. Kong'alale eng komasta nebo Tindiret eng county nebo Nandi eng kasarta nekamite ak kandoik alak chebo Kenya Kwanza. Komwa ine kole kokotyem serikalitab President William Ruto kokanapta bandab tai nebo emet ole karitai ine kaimutik cheterter chebitu kobun ematunwekab sang chekokwai kolany alyetab mwanik eng ng'ony komugul.
Kamwa Dr. Chris Kiptoo kole anganda kokotestai kobitu wakat eng emet kotinygei ak alyetab mwanik, komanyolu kerirtae nito President William Ruto.
About 5 years ago, we had this challenge of COVID-19, which was a major shock to our economy. Then it was followed by Ukraine-Russia war. And by the time His Excellency the President took over power, inflation had gone up and it had reached 9.6% by October 2022. But we took a lot of measures at the National Treasury working with Central Bank. And I can tell you that we succeeded in stabilizing the economy. We managed to bring down inflation. Inflation had come to as low as 2.7%.
Kamwa ine kole kinam serikalit President William Ruto eng kasarta nekikakwa barak uindab sobet, ole kikotyem ine korekune uindab sobet eng emet.
Our shilling, which had been weakened, became stable. And up to now, is still, despite the pressure that is coming out, the shilling is still holding on, steady. This is because we also build up external reserves at the central bank. And interest rate had come down, and our economic growth rate is still among the fastest. The average growth rate for the world is 3.3%. Sub-Saharan Africa is 4%. And for Kenya, the last average growth rate is 4.6%, and in the last 5 years has been 5%. So generally, it is doing well.
Kounoto koyamis ine kole kokotyem serikali kocheng walutiet netakyingei kerekune alyetab mwanik eng emet.
I don't know of any country except those that are oil producing that have not been affected. We have responded to the much we can using the facility we have, what we call Petroleum Development Levy, and we have also adjusted VAT on petroleum from 16% to 8%. And today, you have also had further announcement by the President on further reduction of diesel prices. So I want to assure you that we are working under the leadership of His Excellency the President to make sure that this matter is addressed.
Karuptenito MP nebo Marakwet West Timothy Toroitich nekamwa ine kole nyolu kekochi President William Ruto kasarta nebo kocheng walutiet nebo kaikeny netakyingei keistoegei kaimutikab mwanik eng emet.
We have a global issue kwa mambo ya mafuta, na kwa hivyo tunataka kuambia Wakenya wavumilie. Tunashangaa kuna watu walifunga barabara huko Thika Super Highway, huko sijui wapi, na kunyang'anya watu simu, kuchoma magari ya watu, kuua watu. I want to say ya kwamba mambo ya protests is protected by our constitution. But the law says you must do so peaceably and unarmed.
Kosubkei ak MP nebo Tindiret Julius Meli ak MP nebo Baringo North Joseph Makilap, konyolu eng bororietab Kalenjin kokochi tiet President William Ruto mising eng lewenisiet neo nenyone eng netestai bororiet konyoru kelchin nebo tetutik cheterter chebo bandab tai.
Ng'etalache biikab tugenis kengen serikali. Kiukwer serikali 24 years. Koribech biikab Nandi direct bila kupingwa. Sasa tumepata presidency after 20 years. Moi alienda 2002. Usijaribu kitu naitwa upinzani.
Kama ulipoteza kipande, enda kata kipande. Na ni free of charge. Kimejerani Tindiret sub county 70,000 voters. Ananune? Agemeken sure kele kakinyoru kurainik akikonyoru kikochi Arap Ruto 2 term. Ananune? 2 term amu kosir mwalimuinik 100,000. 2 term amu kokonech lamisiek eng area ini. 2 term amu kokonech sitimok chechang.
Kangalaldos kandochoto eng sukulitab sekondari nebo Father Martin Boyle eng Tindret eng igorta nebo kawektaetab kongoi kosubkei ak walutik chemiachen. Ole kamwa MP nebo Tindret Julius Meli kole borchinkei ine koro kole kachut kipsomaninik tugul eng Tindret sukulishekab barak.
Nilipoanza hiyo program yangu ya graduate in every home, watu wengi walikuwa wanasema inawezekana kweli. Muliona juzi Taja St. John, tulikuwa kwa Isegem kule juu, suguli na kikinomyoin, kogimite Olimba Taunet, Sogosik, Ano. Kwa hii sub county ni karibu wanafunzi 2,000 wameenda university. Amejo walejo imugokse kapchi age tugul lagok itinye mut kobendi university tugul mutu. Ananune?
Kong'etegei county nebo Nandi logoiwekab emet chebo Kass. Kainenyu ko Nelson Tarbei.
Kakonyor asenet MP nebo Chesumei Paul Biego eng kasarta nekotestai kambakosiek cheyae chemung'arainik chebo sekta nebo loiset kosubkei ak alyetab mwanik. Kamwa Biego kole koibet lorit nebo alyet nesire million 20 nekokibokchi akebel eng Naivasha.
Ane nguno arire lorit nekokibel. Lorit nebo chepkondok chechang chemarekune 20 million nekong'et biik komach kobut lorit akoib tuguk akomi lorit parking. Ako kokinai kele lorini kobunu olimbo Eldoret amu komi lorini Naivasha kokoitoi beek.
Notok ko asenet agenge eng chechang chekinyor chemung'arainik kobun tokwek cheterchin yekingeng'emen akebele mung'arosiekwak eng kasarta nekitesetai kangelelchinetab boisiet eng sekta nebo loiset.
Tos kotako maandamano chebo tiletab mwanik anan kokowalak maandamano ko eng ng'alek alak chechang amu akose konyigis mulelanyu amu ng'alek chetesetai eng emenyo nebo Kenya.
Kamwa Biego kole kikibel lorinoto eng kasarta nekikitui misiget ole kichor barnotik boshek anan beek akobel lorinoto.
Asomok biikab kutit, biikab bororiet, ngomi kiy neu maandamano komeche keyai maandamano eng kalyet. Mongen ole namdogei ano ng'alekab strike nebo matatu kot keit kebut lorit ipkeib tuguk ako yekakeib tuguk ang yamach police nyoko leji vijana oistegei anan koleji biikab boror oistegei kong'et bichotok po Naivasha ko ineregek konam lorit akobel.
Kosom ine barnotik koyai kambaget nebo kalyet akometo chorset ak ng'emetab malikab biik.
Bas amache amwoch vijana chebo emet tugul. Oye, ongenai kele mi kiy nekele ng'oki. Ngomi kiy nekele strike, oye ongeyai strike anan maandamano ing oret nenyalunot. Ako ongeboisie amasiarap ko ngomi kiy neu maandamano keyai kiy neu yo kakitaken advantage. Yani ketoi ng'unondit, ketoi matatet puch, ketoi kebirgei puch, ketoi kebelso, ketoi kechorso. Asomok vijana ale ma oret notok ongeyai maandamano ing tolosiet.
Tesetai chikilisiet kotinygei ak yautyonoto kimong'u kenam ak kirwokyi ichek chekitinygei ak yautyonoto. Aripotenchini Kass logoiwekab emet eng county nebo Nairobi. Kainenyu ko Samson Kurgat.
Karuteji Arabal mkutani Ward Baringo South Committee nebo Implementation neindochin Raphael Wanjala nebo Budalangi ak alak eng MPs cheboto Hilary Kosgei nebo Kipkelion West ole katestai kokas kaimetabkei kobun bororiosiek chebo Ilchamos, Endorois ak Pokot ak KFS kotinygei ak namunetab forest nebo Mukutani.
Eng orton katestai eng committee nebo implementation intuition neten Raphael Wanjala koboto MP nebo Kipkelion West noton ko Hilary Kosgei kokomwochi committee noton meng'ikab komosik yoton chebunu bororiet nebo Pokot koboto nebo Endorois kole kikitoi kebeberta noton bo ripsetab timwek anan ko Kenya Forest komamiten kosyinet anan ko public participation. Kini koesio icheket bororiet nebo Ilchamus akomwa icheket kole kakwoutiet koboto katuiyetab kei netinyegei ak komosik yoton bo Mokotane Forest. Kakwoutiet nebo istoetab conservator nebo ripsetab timwek eng emet noton ko Alex Lemarkoko ako tiengei bororiondi nebo Ilchamus noton ko agenge bororiet neming'in nemiten komosik yoton.
Mahali watu walikuwa naishi na watu wakafukuzwa, Sasa tulipotaka kurudi tunaambiwa sasa hapa ni forest ya serikali.
That this decision ya kupeana hii forest ya Mukutani, it was a voluntary decision, it was a collective position, it was a deliberate position. Page 5. Sasa kama sisi jamii hivyo ndio tulifanya. Hakuna mtu mwenye alitulazimisha. Sisi wenyewe ndio tuliamua.
Kama mnataka forest, kama watu wa KFS waka hapa na mnataka tukue na forest, mkuje mtuambie maana ya hii forest itasaidia nini kijana, itasaidia nini mama, itasaidia nini jamii ya Elchamus, itasaidia nini jamii ya Tugen. Hii community forest association wao wako na maoni gani? Wao wataongea ama hawezi ongea? Kwa sababu pia wao tunataka watuambie how did they establish this Mukutani forest.
Chukutuge chiba minga pumusikoto ninga mukongolonji committee noton po implementation nagamane tan banga charete MP Rafael Wanjala kolego china rawata genga sobet kogun wolutiet kusuke akaututet apke noton pamoja nebo kebeberta noton po Mukutani forest.
Tumeongea vizuri na tumechukua memorandum zenu na tunaenda kuangalia na kuzisoma, alafu in the next 1 month mtakuwa mnapata ripoti yetu.
Sisi tukasema hatuwezi kutoa uamuzi huko kwa bunge kwa sababu ya makaratasi na mabarua ya mapenzi ama barua za uchochezi ambazo zimeletwa huko. Tukasema lazima tukuje tukae chini na watu wetu tuwasikilize ili tutoe kesi ile itaridhisha watu wote.
Kwa ngetenda on kabarnet Baringo County lokabe mechibo Kass anegotom chipsoi.
Kango mwangalalindetab serikali Isaac Maura kole rutoitab president eng emetab Azerbaijan ak Kazakhstan koikimit tilyandit nemie eng kwenutab emetab Kenya ak emotinwechotok. Kates komwa Maura kole bitu keljinoik chechang kobun rutoyotok koyai President William Ruto cheboto yaetab mung'aret eng kibagenge eng kwenutab emetab Azerbaijan ak Kazakhstan.
Mheshimiwa Rais amekuwa safari yake ya siku 5 kutoka tarehe 17 Jumapili mpaka tarehe 21 Alhamisi mwezi wa Mei huu, ambao tumekuwa tukiona manufaa mengi. Wengine wanakuja kujiuliza, je, ni manufaa yapi ambayo tunayapata? Sasa hivi kuna usafiri ambao unaanza ndege kutoka Nairobi mpaka Astana, na pia itafungua mambo ya utalii, mambo ya kilimo, mambo ya biashara, mambo ya kidijitali, mambo ya kawi, nishati, kwa sababu wao wameendelea kiasi kidogo katika mambo ya nishati. Na pia kuna wawekezaji ambao watakuja kuweka makampuni yao ya kuwe na makao makuu hapa katika nyanja za kiteknolojia, mambo ya kilimo, mambo ya viwanda, mambo ya usafiri na pia mambo ya ujenzi wa nyumba. Mambo haya yataweza kutusaidia kuhakikisha kwamba tumeweza kupata uwekezaji wa kutosha na pia Wakenya wetu wameweza kupata ajira. Pia ukiangalia ule mfumo wetu wa soko huru la Afrika nzima ambayo inaitwa kwa kimombo AfCOFTA, utahakikisha kwamba Kenya ndio kitovu kikuu na pia mlango wa kuingia katika Afrika nzima. Na pia tunaangalia kwa sababu kuna ule usafiri ambao kati ya Asia, bara Asia na Europa. Nchi hizi mbili ziko hapo katikati. Kwa hivyo itatusaidia sana ili watu wetu waweze kupata wale ambao ni watalii kutoka maeneo yale, kwa sababu unajua sasa bara Hindi ndio sasa hivi kuna ukuaji mkubwa sana wa kiuchumi katika ulimwenguni. Pia masuala mengine ambayo yanashughulikiwa hapa ni mambo ya elimu, kuhakikisha kwamba Wakenya wanaweza kupata elimu katika vyuo vya kule, na pia kutafuta mambo ya AI na mambo ya kiteknolojia na utafiti ili tuweze kushirikiana kwa mambo kama haya. Haya sio mambo tu yatatendeka tu hivi karibuni ama kesho, ni mambo ambayo tunaangalia tu ya muda mrefu. Tumeanza sasa hivi ule uhusiano utakuwa ni mambo ambayo yatatusaidia kwa njia ambazo zitatufaidi. Kwa hivyo wale ambao wanafikiri kwamba uhusiano huu ambao tumekuwa nao na nchi hizi kwamba hutamfaidi Mkenya, wangoje waone uhondo ndio sasa kwa yale ambayo tumeona na ile mikataba ambayo imetiwa sahihi, ndiposa tuweze kufaidi kwa pamoja. Kwa hivyo watu waache porojo na tetesi na stihizai ambazo zipo katika mitandao ya kijamii, ni kama kudhihaki ule uhusiano mwema ambao umejitokeza na nchi hizi zote mbili. Na tunamshukuru
Kagomange alak eng kasubikab chamaitab UDA eng county nebo Bomet akosam kandoikab bolotet ak kasubikwa koker kole karib kalyet eng kasari kitokchingei campaigns chebo lewenisiet neo nenyone. Kamwa ichek kole boriet nekikitokchin agenge anan nekikitokchi agenge nesome ngecheretab senate eng taonitab Bomet Chepkurui Kass komanyalu ako nyalu kikochi chi agetugul boroindo nebo kosom ngecheret nemoche.
Kosubkei ak kasubikab chametab UDA en county nebo Bomet konyolu en kandoindet agetugul neibeljingei boroindab kandoinatet agetugul koker kole karib kalyet ak kobakach ng'alek cheimuch koib suryondit en kwenutab biikab emet.
Kosubkei ak campaign nongen ale political temperature nebo siasa komi barak nguni. Ko ng'olyono amoche amwochi chi agetugul nesome ng'echeret kergei ko nebo MCA, nebo governor, nebo senator, nebo women rep ak nebo MPs. Kesome kalyet matoal biik coons asikoburburen tuiyosiekab biik alak. Amang'u ale Bomani ko kokiboru kalyet kiyoino ko kiwendi matiangi en yu o mokitiny kitany biikab Bomet ak kowechigei komwache chi akwechigei. So en chi agetugul nesome ng'echeret kochamdaat lakini mokimoche kial coons koburburen tuyet nebo mwanasiasa age. Anibuch kimoche kalyet en Bomet ak kechome kalyet ako kibo UDA biikab Bomet 100%.
Mokemoche kekas ng'alekab biik cheburbureni tuyet ngokas kole miten nenyone Bomet kosome ng'echeret konam koburburen tuyet. So mokemoche kekas biik cholelen en Bomet kete Bomet. Raya ko echek chekete Bomet. Mokemoche biik chebongoni kuns kole keburburen tuyet. So echek biikab Bomet ko koketikleren kele kisupporteni Chepkurui en ng'echeretab senator.
Kabit niton en kasarta nenwach yekin kibokyi anan keboborchi musetab kalyet en taonitab Bomet yekin koyai tuyet agenge neibeljingei ng'echeretab senator en county nebo Bomet Chepkurui Kass ole kiit kemus tuyonoton ak kinam kewirgei akoiwek.
Kemoche kosopcho kichanaekyok. Makemoche chekiolchin biik maiwek asinyon kowir kandoik. Kokeesye ne? Okimoche kosopcho kichanaechu. Makemoche takeboisien en bogol. Kimoche keker kele kakikochi empowerment ak kosopcho akichek. Kosopcho biikab pikipiki, kosopcho kitinye biikab rambit chenyolu moe toretet. Kitinye biikab pikipiki, kitinye susainas, kitinye mama mboga chekimoe kosopcho. So kimwoini Chepkurui kamutanyon kokoti seneta nenyon amakiwire kwondo. Yon kaiorogen chi inai ile ibe Chepkurui ng'echeret seneta komatiorogen, amache iwechigei ak inai ile wendi one term. Yon kaiwir kwondo ko kaibeku en siasa. Makiwire kwondo en emoni. So echek ko kichana ko kaketilkeren kele kimoche sobet, makemoche bogol. Makimoche maiwek, makimoche ibir biik, kimoche sobet ak kesom. O kakotiagei kichanaek kole makemoche boriet en Bomet. Kimoche kalyet. Ototakekas chito mi biik chelele kete Bomet. Chekete Bomet ko chuto chu ikere any chuto chu ikere ko chekete Bomet. Mami chekete Bomet.
So kimoche kemwa kele boriet nekimi town komakiyoni ko ki business community. Akot komi chito nemuche kwolchi biik maiwek konaat biik en town komakiyoni ko ki chemung'araik. Kima atmosphere nekararan en town sikeyaen biashara. Ako kalyan chichi muche kwolchi chito maiwek amondoi kos. Kalyan chichi alchin chito maiwek amaolchin ot kechiket. Kalyan chichi alchin chito maiwek amaolchin ot kit nekimweten karisiek. So kakimwa ko ki meng'ikab Bomet ak chemung'araik kele enough is enough. Ako direction nekokwo ko kaketkei emet. Kibandet ng'alek chemwoe chito kole Tibi State ko Tibi State kibandet netinye chitugul. Kit nomosom meng'ikab Bomet itil kibandet ak itil kurayat amun banda nekibendi komakimunye kimoe koik tsunami.
Onyo kali kutoka kwetu, tunawaambia na msikize vizuri. Hiyo mawe yenye mnatupa mtakuja kutuambia sisi kama wamama hatutaki mawe, tuna support mama wetu ambaye Mungu ametupatia. Kibage support mama. Ogije yoso. Kibage support mama. Magicha mdai mama ngamu mama ko noto netie. Mama ne gono ribetab lakwet.
Kora kosom ichek chi agetugul netom kosirgei koik birindetab kura koker kole kasirgei asikomuch kolewen kandoik chemoche. Kong'eten county nebo Bomet logoiwekab emet chebo Kass, kainenyun ko Festus Rono.
Kakokimit kampunit nebo Coca-Cola kole tesetai kokochin neranik toretet neimuktechin konyor kelchin nebo talentaisiekwak. Kamwa kampuninoto kole kokolumda tetutiet nenat ko uwezo kwa vijana netokchingei kokochin neranik 3,000 toretet asikonyor kelchin kobun boisietab talanta.
The reason why we are here is because we have a partnership with emerging leaders. This program is important to us because part of our sustainability pillar is economic inclusion. And in economic inclusion, we believe in empowering youth, differently abled people, and also women. And reason being, we are a responsible corporate citizen, a member of the society, and we have a lot of youth, women, and differently able people who live amongst us in areas that are quite underserved. The importance of this partnership with emerging leaders is because as CCBA Kenya, we found a partner who we've been able to together jointly create a program where the participants of this program are able to at least have a mindset shift. Then afterwards, we are able to work with them, empower them in their commercial ventures. Some of them, for example, it will be interesting for you to know that they are going to be our commercial partners in the sense that they are starting from just the small roadside kiosk all the way up to where their dreams reach. So it's important to see that because of this program, the mindset shift is happening and the commercial acumen of the participants continues to grow day by day.
Wakati nilimaliza training, hiyo siku ya kumaliza training, nilienda nikafungua duka. So hiyo duka imenisaidia sana. Ile hand to mouth imeisha. Hata naweza save mimi mwenyewe. Yes. Na through hizo savings, nilifanya savings na nikajua kusave, nikajua ukisave unaweza fanyia kitu important. So nilifanya kitu important hapo mbele. Mahali nimetoka, yezi define penye naenda. Cause kwa hii program nililearn vitu mingi. Hata mimi mwenyewe nililearn neza employ familia yangu. So through ile program yenye nilisoma about savings, nilichukulia hiyo savings na nikafanyia kitu possible, nikachukulia kijana wangu motorbike. So hiyo motorbike anajisaidia hata yeye na pia mimi napata kipato. Neza encourage young people, women, even wale wenye wako na disability. Hii kitu isiwafungie. Haina age limit. So kusoma, the sky is the limit. Anaweza kuja anytime na kihitaji pia anaweza niambia, anaweza mpeleka penye hizo classes ziko.
So before this program, I used to be that person who didn't have a stable income because I used to depend on just small businesses at the ground, selling mandazis, working for campaign people during campaigns, going to mjengos to look for water and supply them. So I just had these small short-term employments which were not that consistent. That's why I was in and out of employment. As a result of the program, I learned that personally I have an amazing potential and I am a leader. And by understanding that I am a leader, I have to change the way I think. And by changing the way I think, I was able to look for new ways and I was able to understand how can changing my mindset enable me to go out to spaces which would help me to get an employment or even put myself out there for exposure so that I can get a stable income. So as a result of the program, I have learned that all that I need for me to succeed is deep inside of me because I have an amazing potential. As a leader, I learned that changing my mindset will enable me to change the way I think, and changing the way I think will enable me to network with people who will help me grow. And as a result of this, I was able to go out, set aside and look for ways that I will be able to earn my income more. And it led me to me having a stable income, which helped me to boost my family and my people that I love.
A significant number of things have changed in the context of people's everyday lives, the way that they see themselves, the way that they carry themselves. But one of the biggest shifts that we've seen is the move from dependency to interdependency. So we at the beginning of the program, there was like a 56% dependency rate of those that were relying on their family, on their friends, on their neighbors to support them. And many of those were single stay-at-home mums, so they didn't kind of see a future for themselves. Just saw this is my reality, this is where I'm going to be. At the end of the program, as they come through, we've seen around that drop now from 56% to 10%. Women are beginning to see themselves as entrepreneurs, as business women, beginning to realize that they can begin to take ownership and responsibility for the story that they want to write for their family, for their kids. They're beginning to change the cycle of hopelessness within their communities and within their families, becoming role models for other mums in their neighborhoods who are now aspiring.
Chitap kalenjin gagituk chataga metab logoik chok chebo imet kagimuch kibun kong'ete studio nebo Kass TV kongoi missing habarindan gaigone chiger logoikab emet kigurena Jacqueline Arusei kabarastaindet nekowalwech ng'alek eng oretab kabarunoik kegurena Omid Cherotich amagun kit age tugul nemie.